boss. Go ahead. That was just some extra footage.
All right. I'm title mom here at the Sonoma Film Festival pouring a little bit of the Balvenie. Today we're doing the 15 and the 12-year-old Doublewood. A little bit about the 12-year-old Doublewood. The 12-year-old Scotch, single malt. It's about 11 and a few months in old version cast, so American oak cast. Just like a classic Scotch. The difference with this Scotch is that at the end of the process they take it out and they put it in a Spanish Oloroso sherry cask. And Oloroso sherry is a Solaris system sherry, so what they do is they blend old cherries with new cherries, so the cask gets used over a very long period of time, and when they're done with the cask, they sell them to different people that want to age stuff in them. So Balvenie buys the cask, they take their 11 and some years old Scotch, and they put it into the Oloroso sherry cask, so it imparts all this Oloroso sherry. Oloroso sherry is deep, dark, rich sherry. So what it does to the Scotch is it basically rounds the corners off and it softens the Scotch. So the Balvenie is a Scotch drinker's Scotch, the 12-year-old Doublewood. It's a Scotch drinker's Scotch because it spent 11 years in oak, so it's got all the components of regular Scotch, 12-year-old Scotch that you would normally get, but it also rounds the Scotch out, so you don't get the alcohol as much, you don't get that burn on the back of the throat from the high proof, so it's also a really lovely beginner Scotch. If you've never tried Scotch before, the Balvenie Doublewood is fantastic for an entry-level Scotch. It's very, very soft. You get a lot of the sweetness that you get from the sherry because of the residual sugar from the sherry on the inside of the cask. So if you're just trying out Scotch for the first time, the Balvenie Doublewood is a great way to go. And if you're a regular Scotch drinker, you do the Balvenie Doublewood, or you can try one of the other Balvenie flavors, the 15 or the 14 if you can get your hands on it. So Scotch makers have been doing it for a long time to try and soften Scotch to make it more palatable for different markets. And part of the reason that you put into an Oloroso sherry cask, or what Jim McEwen does out at Balvenie, is take 12-year-old Scotch and start putting it into different wine barrels. So Chardonnay, Cabernet, Zinfandel. He won't tell anybody what the blend is, but a lot of Scotch makers do it, and what it does is it softens the Scotch and it imparts the flavors from whatever kind of cask you're doing back into the Scotch. So it changes the flavor of the Scotch, it rounds it out, it gives it different notes. In terms of Balvenie, there's a 14-year-old cask that Glenfiddich also does, which is in their 21-year-old. They get Caribbean rum cask, and rum, as you know, is made from sugar, from molasses, and in this case, in the Caribbean, it would be in molasses. And there's a bunch of residual rum flavor and sugar on the inside of the cask. So when you finish Scotch with rum, it's sort of a serendipitous discovery. But when you finish Scotch with rum, it does this really incredible thing flavor-wise, and you get these banana notes and the coconut flavor from the old rum cask into the Scotch. The flavors marry very well, partly because the malted barley that they use is a very low sugar content, and rum has an incredibly high sugar content. So the marriage of those two things, from getting the flavor from the inside of the cask, really helps the Scotch in terms of flavor and roundness and richness and mouthfeel. 14-year-old Balvenie is finished in a Caribbean rum cask, but all the other Scotches that get finished in cask, they impart the flavor of whatever they're finishing them in. So the 12-year would be Oloroso, the Balvenie. If you get your hands on a bottle of the Black Art, which is very difficult and wildly expensive to get, I don't think he's actually making it anymore. But if you can get your hands on it, it's a blend of a 12-year-old Scotch that spent the remaining 6 years in separate wine casks. And it creates this incredible alchemy of flavor. So that's a little note on the way they, it's not blend, but the way they finish aging Scotches in different casks and how they affect the flavor.